Alright, so man, what a crazy week it's been so far. Now, I'm not gonna go around saying it's been the best week ever, but my god, it's been a crazy week, and it got a whole lot crazier. Because in today's video, we're going to be talking about how MrBeast overnight actually came out with a statement regarding Kris Tyson. Now, in the beginning of this part, we're going to be going over this statement, and then closer to the end of the video, we're going to be going over some new stuff that has recently came out against Kris Tyson. So without further ado, let's get into this statement. MrBeast last night over on Twitter at 10:30 p.m. put out a tweet and said this: "Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings." So yeah, that's what MrBeast had to say. He put this out last night. Currently, at the time of looking at this at 2 a.m. in the morning, this tweet has almost 300,000 likes on it and has amassed around 15 million views. Now, for the most part, from what I am seeing, most people thought that this was a good response, but some people did not believe that this was a good response, because it looks like former MrBeast member Jake the Viking replied to MrBeast and said, "I don't know what I was expecting, but this ain't it." Another person replied and said, "You did what's best. Thanks, MrBeast. Now back to improving the world one video at a time." Now, besides the replies under the tweet, I've seen quite a bit of people actually saying things like, "Jimmy knew about this." I mean, how would he not know? He's been friends with Kris for a very long time, and he's even lived with him. I mean, you see this picture right here, even Kris was looking at the artwork. So that means he definitely knew what was going on here, and he definitely knew about this. Those are the things that I've been hearing, but I mean, at this point, despite him, yes, looking at the picture in this video, I'm really not too sure if he knew about this or not. You know, I would like to assume so, but also I don't want to state that as fact, because I'm not really sure what he's referring to here specifically, because so many things have came out in the past 3 days. But when it comes down specifically to Kris Tyson begging Shadman for Lolly and being associated with Shadman and buying Lolly artwork and stuff like that, I mean, this is not new information. This was talked about last year too. Like, if you guys remember that one time last year that Sunny V2 put up a really controversial video, the one that was essentially saying that Kris was going to be a huge PR issue for MrBeast and the MrBeast brand. Well, yeah, during that whole situation, this old stuff with the Shadman situation was brought up and people did talk about it. But once again, I guess I'm not going to be holding that to Jimmy, because, you know, what if he didn't know and it was a plausible deniability thing? So honestly, at this point, I don't think it's a good thing to go around saying, "Oh, Jimmy knew," when we don't necessarily know if Jimmy did know. But I mean, besides that, I'm happy that MrBeast did respond, and I'm happy that he is doing an investigation. Now, just because I put this on my community tab, I asked you guys for your thoughts, I figured I would just go over some of the comments that I've received. So yeah, let's take a look. "OMG, Jimmy knew. We should deplatform him now." That was in quotes. "Just let him give homes to the homeless and feed the hungry man." I mean, I don't know if I would be running right now with, you know, the whole "OMG, Jimmy knew." So yeah, I see that point, but I mean, I'd still be asking questions if he did know about this and he was just totally complacent with it. People acting like Jimmy knew every bit of Bro's life, making shit up as if they were there. Let Bro breathe. There's no evidence he knew, so don't make baseless accusations. 100% spot on. I'll give it to this guy. 100%. I agree. I think it's a really good response if you assume he didn't know. On one hand, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense how he didn't know unless he's blind or really trusts his friend. And on the other hand, if there was anyone I trust on the internet to do the right thing, it's Jimmy. Yeah, I also agree with this one too, because I feel like this is something that he should know about, but there's also a high chance, and we also don't have evidence, that he just happened to be unaware. Still seems slightly fishy to me that he's acting like he didn't know about it, even the slightest bit, but whatever. Yeah, I also agree with this comment. Now moving on, I just wanted to give some updates on some things because a lot has came out within the past few days, and it looks like more damning things have came out about Kris. And I know there's been a lot that's came out, including a clip of MrBeast saying something really questionable in relation to Bad Baby, but it actually actually turns out that was an edgy, poorly made joke, and it was confirmed by Leon Lush to be that way. There's even this community notes thing here that says, yeah, essentially what I just told you. So yeah, that's just another reminder too, to not immediately believe what you see on Twitter and to make sure you go around confirming that what you're seeing is true before you run with it and say, oh, this is true, or this makes MrBeast look really bad or something. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the updates. So something that had came out after I put out my video about lava was actually resurfaced Reddit messages that actually happened to be linked to Kris Tyson. And let's just say, yeah, these are pretty bad. Let's take a look. So first off, I just wanted to prove that this account is actually Kris Tyson. They have proved it in a tweet in the past. As you guys can see right here, Kris put out a tweet and said, the old me was a blank too. And then as you guys can see right here, there is a image that was posted by Tyson Boy 34. And this actually happens to be the same name as the Reddit that we're about to go over. So I think that's enough right there to essentially say that this is Kris. Anyways, let's get into the messages. So here's the first one, and it's already bad. As you guys can see right here, I'm not really too sure Kris Tyson here is responding to, but this picture right here could be younger individuals. And then as you guys can see right here, Kris responds and says, but you can still get teen love. 14-year-olds always stay 14. Like, excuse me? What does that even mean? What point are you trying to make there? Like, what kind of disgusting shit is this? I don't even know what this means, but it's highly questionable. And if you thought it ended there, no, there's more. It looks like on another thread, Kris Tyson left a reply on this. Not exactly sure what it was, but he said, why the fuck would you use your VR headset for anything other than 3D lolly gang rape porn? Now, given Kris's past and that whole Shadman shit and the lolly and all that we have proof that he bought, lolly, this is really weird. Like, what were you saying here, Kris? What the hell were you saying? Anyways, continuing on, we have another reply to another Reddit post, and this Reddit post happened to be a Pixar's Incredibles 2 trailer. So yeah, essentially, I think you guys might know where this is going. Kris says, Shadman is going to love this. Like, what the hell? What is going on here, Kris? We need answers. Man, at this point, I'm really happy that MrBeast is doing an investigation into this shit, because this is really bad. And the fact that this was able to go on unchecked for the longest time is crazy. And once again, if you thought it was going to end there, well, no. No second monitor to have hentai constantly playing? Not good enough for this good boy. I'll be honest, not the most damning thing ever, but what does Kris at this point mean by hentai? Moving on. It looks like somebody left a comment and they said, you should check r/real scat girls. And then Kris Tyson responds and says, I thank thee for my new fetish. Now that's very weird given the fact that, like, not really sure if Kris knew this or not, but this subreddit actually had an error and apparently was supposed to be real cat girls. And I mean, if you know what a cat girl is, and frankly, if you don't know what that is apparently a cat girl is a young female kamomomi character with feline traits such as cat ears. Okay, we get it. All right. But yeah, the point being here, young. And then we have Kris saying things like this in comments about that subreddit. I don't know. It's just, it really at this point is like a terrible look. And at this point, like I said before, Kris Tyson needs to be investigated because this is more at this point than just the Shadman stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Reddit messages. Now moving on, something that I haven't talked about yet is there actually was a second minor that came out, and essentially they showed their message history on Snapchat of them messaging Kris, and I just wanted to go over this too. So Breaking GNN put out a tweet that goes, Kris Tyson, an employee of MrBeast who is best known for being trans and buying lolicon from Shadman, has been caught sexually messaging a different 14-year-old. Shared by the then 14-year-old is a Snapchat conversation between the victim and Tyson in 2019. Ben stepped up, LOL. Thanks, Dad, LOL. And then for whatever reason, what this is right here, keep it a secret though, LOL. I don't know what this is. Apparently, it looks like it was about a video idea that somebody was going to give to MrBeast. We have other things here like a SoundCloud link. And I mean, for the most part, everything here really isn't too bad, except for maybe the kissing face emojis. And also the fact that he has been caught messaging many minors and having like one-on-one private conversations with them. I think that's really weird, especially when you bring into account what he is into. Now, in one of my previous videos, videos I said that Kris calling everybody dad and calling minors dad or daddy is weird, but it actually turns out that it might not be as weird as we initially thought, because something that has been brought to my attention from a fellow YouTuber and friend is that during this time period years ago, it was just apparently a thing where they would like call each other dad and stuff and like daddy and shit like that. Like even in MrBeast videos, as you guys can see right here.
To be honest, not enough of you guys are buying my merch, so I can't afford to feed my children. So I'm gonna have to just give them some of our Orbeez. Here's your rations for the day.
Thanks, Dad.
Here's your rations for the day.
Yes.
Is there not even enough for me?
There isn't enough for you. People don't buy the merch. I want to feed you, but I can't.
Where did they go to buy the merch?
ShopMrBeast.com.
This isn't good, Dad.
Well, tell them to buy some merch so I can feed you.
So yeah, if new messages ever do come out and Kris is calling these people dad or daddy or whatever, it really isn't a big deal anymore, because it's just something that they said during that time period, in which, I mean, MrBeast members were calling each other dad too. So I just feel like I need to clarify that, because that was a huge thing. Now moving on to the last two things I want to talk about. Once again, if I happen to miss something that you want me to cover, comment it down below or mention me on Twitter @subtobreone. But the last two things I wanted to talk about are actually Mutahar, or Some Ordinary Gamers as you might know him, put out a video regarding the situation, and also when he did this, he exposed private DMs that Tyson had sent him during the whole Keffel situation, where essentially Mutahar was called transphobic because he made a video on a really disgusting individual known as Keffels, and immediately, despite Mutahar never bringing up like the whole trans thing and trying to make it about like, you know, all trans people are bad or things like that, Mutahar was called transphobic for justifiably going after a piece of shit who happened to be trans. And due to this, Kris got pissed off and had a meltdown. Here are the messages. So glad you said there's legit info on Kiwi, meaning Kiwi Farms. Legit being people telling people to go to my house and kill me. That website is the reason why my child has had a gun pointed at him by cops. They renamed my family's businesses on Google, harassed and doxed my family members to the point where they don't talk to me anymore, and are the reason I had to move. So thank you for sending more eyes to the bottom of the barrel of the internet, where transphobia is encouraged by the creator who enjoys and has encouraged doxes of me because they think I'm a Jew being paid by Disney to transition. And then they continue, speaking of which, glad to see now my doxes are picking back up today. Wonder where they got that info from. Now what's crazy to me right here is the fact that Tyson, who was not even being talked about, for whatever reason got really pissed that Mutahar was going after Keffels for obvious and justified reasons, and for some reason inserted herself into the whole conversation because Kiwi Farms was mentioned. And what Kris was trying to do there was he was trying to put the blame on Mutahar because apparently Kris's doxes are picking back up. Like, you've got to be kidding. Mutahar didn't do fucking shit. The only thing he did was he talked about a piece of shit, and for whatever reason, I don't know, I mean, honestly, from what I see right here, it looks like you're trying to, in a way, defend Keffels, so I think that this is another reason why you are a piece of shit too, because literally none of this has anything to do with you, and you're inserting yourself, and in a way, you're accusing Mutahar of being the reason why the doxes on you have started to pick back up, and I think that that is a reach. Like, what a schizo this person is, I swear to God. Now, anyways, moving on. One last thing, I've been mentioned by somebody on Twitter to talk about this, but apparently when last year's drama that I was telling you about came out and initially happened, and when Kris was exposed the first time for having Shadman artwork, buying it and liking it, Jalyn, out of all people, Jalyn the commentary YouTuber, had actually reached out to Kris regarding the situation, and this is what was said. Jalyn first said, "It's crazy how you just existing was enough for all these people to come after you. First it was the Carl effect, now it's all this. So yeah, I get why you wouldn't want to address things. Probably best to lay low for a while. Hopefully all of this will pass soon. I don't have much influence or anything, but if you ever need me to correct anything or make follow-ups or whatever, I will." Kris responds with, "If anyone ever asks, just say you talked to me and I explained it was a shitty joke to get likes from a reply from Shad. I didn't even know about all of the stuff he did, but one of his first controversies, I stopped interacting with him a long time ago. Yeah, I'm not really too sure if I'm buying this, especially because, I mean, Kris says right here that after one of Shadman's first controversies, Kris stopped interacting with him, but when it comes down to that, I don't buy it, because Shadman has had many controversies, including being arrested, and I just don't believe that you had no idea about any of these controversies. And even if so, I mean, there's this one clip where you were on your live stream and you accidentally pulled up Shadman's website and you said something along the lines of, "I'm happy that Shadman had safe for work drawings on his website today." It was something along the lines of that. So I highly doubt that it's been your first time going to Shadman's website and looking at all that shit. And I mean, Shadman is known for drawing CP essentially. That's what he's known for. So I highly doubt that there is any way that you just had no idea what was going on here or the controversies or what. But that's just how I feel. And it looks like somebody mentioned Jalyn to confirm if this is real or not, and it looks like Jalyn just confirmed that it is real. So yeah, personally, if you ask me, I don't see Kris coming back from this at all. I have a big feeling that they're going to find more during this investigation that MrBeast is doing, and I highly doubt Kris is coming back. But I guess with that all being said, I'm going to be wrapping up the video right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you happen to enjoy the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because doing so will help promote the video more in the algorithm so more people will see it. Thank you guys so much for being a member to the channel. Your support really means the world to me, and I really do appreciate it. My name is Breone, and I will see you in my next video. Peace!